It's time for a little Funky Friday. From their funky headquarters, your hosts, Keith and Gary.
Hey guys, it's headquarters. Welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Minefield. Thank God it's Friday with our special guest, Sara Frazetta, who's I've actually been Facebook friends with for a while. But we found out that we're working on the same show or comic book. I'm sorry. And in the process, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to invite her on our show. Why? Because, it's amazing. Because your grandfather was like a major, him and Al Williamson, who was also one of his best friends, was two of the biggest influences on my art style.
Wow.
And when it comes to drawing, not when I'm painting, Drew Struzan is my what do you call that, spirit animal for
your
painting?
Muse.
But the way that your dad, your grandpa, I always say dad because your mom.
You can say dad.
You remind me of your mom. So that's what I was going to say, because your mom's there. Say hi to say hi to your mother.
She's
hi to your
floating
mother.
Around. She's got ADD. We never know where she is.
But I want to welcome you to the show, Sara. It's really wonderful that you agreed to come on. And trust me, the panel is going ape shit that you're coming on. All these guys
internally, we're going crazy.
They're like, Sara Frazetta, let me be on your show.
Oh, well, it's just because I have the good information about my grandpa, but I'm so happy to be here.
And you run it with the museum with your mom and your aunt?
No, so the museum is just my mom's. Before my grandpa passed away, he split up the art collection amongst his 4 kids. And they all worked together for a little bit, but it didn't work out.
We all remember the
kind of
controversy.
Split,
and
yeah.
But I'm so glad everybody settled down and worked together eventually.
Well, it's so normal. People fight over really little things. So when you, like, in hindsight, it's not abnormal that there was a huge family feud about, an art collection that's the most, maybe one of the most iconic art collections in history. So I get it. It was hard to go through, but yeah, it's good there was a resolution. My grandfather was a very fair man, so I think his decision to split up the artwork and have everyone involved was a good idea.
And it did work out in the end, and I'm really glad that did. I know that your uncle had some problems, but that all settled down, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Good.
I haven't talked to him, but I heard he's doing better, so that's good.
Yeah. But in the end, you created this thing you call the Frazetta Girls, which is how you run what exactly is the Frazetta Girls all about?
So the Frazetta Girls brand was basically, it's a double entendre. So we have my grandfather was known for his girls, and he coined the term Frazetta Girls back in I think it was like the 70s, when people were like, "Oh, Frank, you have such a distinct style with your women." So he's like, "Oh yeah, my Frazetta Girls." So we coined, we then were like thinking about it. We're like, well, we're Frazetta's girls. So, we played on that. So then that became just our brand name. Obviously, we represent his almost his entire art collection. But so that's just a little, like I said, a play, the little double entendre that we like.
Wow. And of course, some good stuff. The Death Dealer is absolutely one of my favorite pieces of all time right here.
Oh, yeah.
I would have never listened to Molly Hatchet if not for the artwork.
Yeah, it doesn't really go, does it? The music and the cover.
Southern rock.
Yeah.
God bless them. They use some beautiful stuff, and of course, that's Fire and Ice right there.
Yeah. Yep. He worked on that movie with Ralph Bakshi. Actually, do you all know how my grandfather lost the ability to use his right hand after his stroke in '96? It was actually Ralph Bakshi who encouraged him to start painting with his left hand. My grandfather was always up for a challenge, and Ralph was telling, I think my grandpa was having a hard time and really just in the dumps about like his physical condition. And Ralph was like, "Frank, come on, you can do it. It's just your brain. You can do it. You can learn with your left hand." So my grandpa liked a good challenge, and he was like, "All right, I'm going to do it." So thank you, Ralph.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, you know, because that's been going through my mind, because they talk about it in the documentary Painting with Fire, and which is a great film. And I'm dealing with it myself with my artwork, because you've seen my work, and I'm faced with losing the use of my right arm, and I've got a good year to 2 years left right now, unless they find a way surgically to repair the spine. Working as an artist really wreaks havoc on your neck.
Yes.
Wow.
And you don't know it. And now here I am, you know, 57, and it's like, okay, so I'm limited. And that is exactly what goes through my mind is, would I be able to do what your grandpa did? And I don't know if I can, you know, learn to draw and paint left-handed. So what he did's amazing.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm so sorry you're going through that with your neck. Is it just something with your your C6, C7?
C2, C3, right where the nerves go out into the arms, and it's causing compression. And plus, on top of that, I've got degenerative bone disease in the spine. I laughed about it when all my cousins and aunts were like, "Oh yeah, I guess that runs in the family." I'm like, "Now you tell me? Now?"
You know,
for the heads up.
We can share each other's sorrows, because I'm going through the same thing right now. So we'll talk after. I don't want to bring the mood down, but I want to message you about.
No, we talk about real stuff here, and
good.
Never worry about that.
Okay.
I do want to mention Salty Texas, good friend of ours. He gives us a $10 US because he's from Texas. Absolutely love Frank Frazetta's incredible art. Bakshi's films are vastly underrated. I concur completely, and not just because Sarah's here. I'm a big fan of Ralph Bakshi, so I totally agree with you on that. And a special thank you video goes to you, Texas, and you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and play this one because I love this one.
Well, whatever helps you sleep at night, bitch.
Okay, thanks for the $10, buddy. And we do. The chat loves to ask questions. He has no question there. That's a statement. But if you guys want to ask Sarah a question, now is the time to do it. We've got 187 people watching us right now.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah. Keith and I'm
like a really big hot mess today, not having my headphones. At least I can hear you now. I'm going to go off the camera for 1 second and find a charger, because I'm also the museum's been busy today. So I'm usually very prepared. Do you mind if I go off for 1 second?
Oh my God, no. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Gary's so dramatic.
Today, Gary will be portrayed by William Shatner. Where's the guest? I just can't do this. Tabletop Junkie is here. What's up, Tabletop? Of course, our good friend Keith and my good friend Dust Wolfen is here. Jace is here. Hi, Jace. And of course, our producer Pat S is in the chat. Stream Elements is here as well. Thank you for showing up this time, Stream Elements. I owe Steven on that one because he spotted where I screwed up. And of course, our good friend Zach, who is also our director in the background, who's doing the chat, even though I'm throwing everything up really quickly because I just want to see who's here.
Lord Thoth, what's up, brother?
Lord Thoth is here. Yes. What's up, brother? Yes. I know Lord Thoth is a Frazetta fan.
The Egyptian Queen is my all-time favorite.
Yep. Because I know Lord Thoth is a huge Frazetta fan. And the thing is, even though we will talk about your grandpa today, Sarah, the fact is this is about you, because I'm so impressed because all my kids do artwork. All of them.
That's
Every
awesome.
single one of them. My daughter went in a different direction than me and isn't an illustrator, but an actual artist. And while both my other kids are illustrators, and all my children are also writers, just like me.
Wow.
So I'm just so grateful, you know, but with your family, I was really surprised you were the first one to really follow in his footsteps. And what was that like? What inspired it? I know the story. I want you to tell it.
All right. Okay. my story. So I'm going to tell you the real story. So I had a surgery. I had breast implants put in when I was 19, and I ended up, maybe this can help somebody, you know, you never know.
We are paying attention now.
So yeah, all paying attention now. So, and that's why I have some pictures from like older conventions, and a lot of people are like, "You seem more like a Frazetta girl back then." I'm like, "Yes, good observation." But I ended up being allergic to them, and it wasn't until like 8 years later I started developing all of these autoimmune disorders, and they don't tell you the you do sign off on it, so they do tell you, but who reads the fine print,
Right.
So they were saline with a silicone shell, so I have like an allergy to silicone, and it was sitting in my body. And anyway, I had this like kind of like a divine intervention of a few people that came into my life and helped me discover that was a big problem that I was having. And so I had to get them out. And I went from like being super, super active, that was like my life was like, just different, like boxing and the gym. And like, that's how I get my like energy out and can stay sane. So I was on bed rest for a few weeks. And I was also, this is like the first couple of days I was on some really, heavy painkillers. And I went into my office and I saw one of my grandpa's little like famous funnies, like the little like cartoon like bird. And I took it and I started drawing on a piece of paper because, like I said, I was going crazy. Like social media wasn't doing it for me. I'm like, I need to do something. So I copied it and I looked at it and I was like, I think I can draw, but looking back, I think it was the painkiller that gave me that confidence to think I could draw. So I then posted it on Facebook and I was like, look, I'm an artist. And I just like kind of, I was vulnerable and it kind of exploited myself. And then I just started posting and my journey started there and everyone could just see how terrible I was in 2017 and now look and see the progress. So I'm trying to inspire people that it's, anything's possible.
Wow.
Man,
That's true.
Especially if you're high enough. Yeah, that's what I got from that story.
Did you ever see any artistic talents with any of your other relatives?
They all have it. They all could do it. It's just a matter of, who has enough ambition to actually do something. Or
Well, what did I tell you the other night when you and I were live on Mark's stream? I said, I'm the only family member, because all my family could draw. I'm the only one lazy enough to do it as a career.
But yeah, I mean, I think the opposite. I mean, I think
it is the opposite, but I love making that joke.
Yeah, no, it's a good joke. You have to have a little bit of courage to, I mean, even to any kind of art to like, put it. If you're a freaking genius like my grandfather, of course you want to show people. But in the beginning, going through those phases of learning and getting the bad ones, you just have to be courageous to share it with people and to get feedback and criticism. And it takes a strong person to put any kind of creativity out in the world.
May I ask you a question? Do you mind? Hi, I'm Fat Steven.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm the only guy with no face.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, I want to. It's kind of like a two-parter. First of all, when it comes to actually having the ability to accept criticism, whether it's good or bad, does that help you perfect your art over time? And B, without criticism, or at least passion to accept criticism, can it affect you from actually maintaining what you want to accomplish with art? Like if you don't have passion in it, is it worth doing? And will criticism affect that?
I think for me, the criticism has, I mean, it gives me like a little, sometimes like imposter syndrome. But I think like after a few years, the criticism started really resonating to be able to help me get better. But at first it was more like, well, I don't think when I was first beginning, and I think this holds true to not just myself, but to everyone. I think when someone has the courage to put themselves out there and to start art or music or anything, I don't really think criticism's the way to go, because I think you're going to take the inspiration away and someone's trying to find their footing. And then if you're too hard on them saying, oh, you should be this way, that you're kind of cutting that creative flow off. So I think once you get to a level of like, where you're being hired and you have someone to show the work to, and someone's paying you to do it, then you can start getting that criticism and taking it and getting better from it. But my mom, I love her, and she's an artist as well. And in the beginning, she was very, very rough on me, and I was like, listen, I kind of be tough back with her. I'm like, listen, I'm doing something. There's the difference. If you're doing something, don't heavily criticize it until, again, like if I'm not improving after a certain amount of years, I'll take your feedback. So that's my, I hope I answered that question adequately.
Yeah, you did. I probably should have put the words better together because, like me, ADHD, so you probably know these people. So I got the words and what I was trying to deliver out in a word salad of like, who is this guy? Let's go back to talking about the breast implants.
We made it back to that.
I was listening. It wasn't the first thing I'm going to jump on, but I can take the joke and bring it back.
I'm just glad I only have like from here up, because then that would be like the focus. Like,
the people are looking for where were they? Is there a mark?
I'm glad for you.
I'm actually surprised he's not using. He has an animated avatar that moves its mouth with him.
It's
Of Fat Steven Seagal from South Park, and it's freaking awesome.
That's awesome.
He triggered me because I have really bad ADD, and the first time we met 2 years ago, I about lost my shit doing a show with him. I'm like, I don't know how to talk now. I can't take my eyes off of his animated head moving. You know?
Oh, well, we're all in good company because I have ADD too. My mom and I have been in the museum. It's been a fun little dance she and I have been having, but she was talking in the background yesterday as I was like giving a little mini tour, and I in front of the whole group, I'm like, Mom, shut up. I can't focus. And they all were like, just, whoa. And I'm like, sorry, Sicilian with ADD. I can't double task. I can't listen to what she's saying because then I want to correct her. You know, you guys get it.
Yes.
Got another question there. Maybe it's a bit of a follow-up from Steven.
This is our good friend Viking out of time from England. Merry old England, you know.
I love it.
And she's going to understand me, mate. You see?
Yeah, we want subtitles for him because I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Oh, shit.
I just got to know if you think that perhaps because of who your grandfather was, that perhaps the criticism that you get is a little harsher, or given that you get, to be sometimes, I mean, it's almost impossible not to get compared with your own grandfather, right? In terms of art and the work that you do. Is criticism maybe too harsh sometimes on that part as well?
I think I set myself up for that because my grandfather has, like, when I just started art, it was just studying his work and doing like replications, but that was just kind of like my process to learn because I had already been through college. I went to school for communications and advertising. And, now I'm 33 years old. So I started art at 28. I didn't want to have student debt or anything again. So my mentor was my grandfather, and I really wanted to do studies of his work because it's like, that's my way of understanding how brilliant he is. When you try to replicate a line, you're just like, wow, this was more of a subconscious like way of doing things. It was just within him.
Just so you know, Sarah, a lot of us illustrators start that way, replicating Frank Frazetta and learning how to follow the strokes.
Right. And that's so typical in art school. I mean, even my grandfather, he started replicating Milton Caniff and many other, and Wyeth and Pyle and, all of the greats. So everyone has to start somewhere. But I think because I put it out there, I put it out on social media. I know I was setting myself up for that comparison, which is fine. Like, again, I will never be Frank Frazetta. I don't want to be Frank Frazetta. I just want, everyone wants to be Frank Frazetta, but you know what I mean? It's like, right. I want to find my own voice in art. And I don't necessarily know if that's, I don't really think I have found my voice in art yet. I'm a very different person from my grandfather. My grandfather was a very, he was an enigma. He had a lot of sides to him. He was, but he was very like charismatic, masculine. I'm a little bit more like self-deprecating. I have a lot of intuition, just a lot of emotions. So I don't know if I've necessarily found like how to translate who I am inside onto paper yet. And that's just part of the journey. I'll get there, but I'm not gonna try to like press that. And, and I think once I do find my voice, it won't even be a comparison to my grandfather because it will be just such a different subject matter.
Well, that's just
great.
it,
That's
right?
just great. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Viking.
That's okay, mate.
Sorry again. You get subtitles.
You're used to this, Sarah. Men falling all over themselves for you.
No.
I just want to tell Sarah, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for understanding me without subtitles, like these guys here.
I
Hey, I've
understand
never
you.
come at
If
you.
I had my headphones and I could, I'm
But
just.
It's something mean that I do to him all the time. I tell him I don't know what you're saying. It's really pretty, but I don't know what you're saying.
But if you want to contribute, Sarah, we are creating a GoFundMe to buy him a dictionary so that he can understand me.
Last thing I need is an Englishman telling me how to speak English when they can't even pronounce aluminum.
I wanted to add something like that. Maybe in general, finding your voice is pretty much hard to do, I guess, because every day is another evolution of your character by how the outside influences affect you. So what was one pencil line yesterday will always be a different pencil line the next day. So finding the voice that can go along with that evolution, I guess, is a hard trait for any artist who is trying to not only find themselves, but deliver themselves without overcompensating from criticism or letting other things affect you.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well
I
said.
agree with that 100%. It's like, and I think that's like the beauty of a true artist is that you just keep evolving from whatever inspires you. But just being able to, and I think I mean with like my voice is just feeling like, okay, this is, maybe more of a, I don't know. I guess I would say more courage to take whatever that inspiration is, what I'm really feeling that day, and like do something with it. Because you're absolutely right. Like I always say, I wake up and I'm like, it's a new day. I feel completely different from yesterday. Maybe it's something wrong with my brain, or maybe I'm just fully creative and
maybe I'm just schizophrenic. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well.
Maybe you're just
Come as you are.
Maybe it's more of accepting the mortality of your thought and how that changes.
Yeah.
Wow, Steven's very philosophical today.
That's
like
just so
this.
deep right now. My God.
Yeah,
I love talking
we don't get this side
philosophy.
of Steven very often, so you need to be on the show more often, Sarah.
You're not doing that, Gary. You're not playing that card. I'm sorry, you're not doing that.
We need the
I was
judging
gonna ask
kid.
about.
We need the judging kid, judging
Yeah, we need
Steven for
judging
being so
Keith.
philosophical.
Yeah, Steven.
I was gonna ask about
They don't
cowboy
like me being
characters. Y'all getting
serious, I'm sorry.
philosophically. Man.
But I like you being serious, Steven. Stop being so melodramatic.
I like the philosophical talks. I mean, you could just have me all day talking about that. I mean, some people are off put by it, but I love it.
Well, it's usually what happens after the show. We stay on after the show, a lot of us, and we'll just talk, and that's when we get into the deeper subjects. I wish sometimes I would be able to do an after show where people can listen to the stuff we talk about after the show.
Yeah, you should.
It gets really good.
Because people want to hear the truth about things. I mean, we can come out, have our face, our show face, and it's like, just be you, just be real. Whatever you're going through, someone else probably has it way worse, and if they can hear that truth, that's going to inspire someone to just, again, be themselves and not worry about any judgment or whatever.
How old were you when your dad had his stroke, or grandpa had his stroke?
I was actually only 8 years old. So my grandpa was like a father to me, like from when I was born. So story, my mom had just married my father, and my grandparents were like, please have a baby. We're so bored. And mostly my grandma, little bit my grandpa, not so much. He was, he was fine. He had enough to keep him busy through the day. But my grandma was more so like, you have to have a baby. So I was the first grandchild out of 11.
Have a baby.
Yeah, have a baby. So my mom, she's like, okay, I'll have a baby for you. This gets weirder. I actually found a little diary that my mom kept when I was a baby, and my grandma and grandpa wanted to adopt me. And she was like, she was actually considering it. I'm like, Mom, what is wrong with what? I had a suspicion you didn't really love me. Now it's confirmed. But so my grandfather, like, my mom said when she'd come over, maybe this is why, maybe it's my fault. She'd come over to my grandparents' house, and I would be hiding behind the couch. Like, I would scream and cry. Like, I didn't want to leave grandma and grandpa. So grandpa, like, again, like they were like parents to me. That's because they wanted to be. My mom was very young when she had me. She was 24. So she probably loved the time of getting, not having the screaming baby. I never slept. I still don't sleep. And yeah, so my grandpa was, he showed me everything, like films. We loved watching movies together. Disney's Fantasia. We watched it probably like I'm not exaggerating, like 200 times. We watched his movie Fire and Ice, and he'd be like, I worked on this. Like, he was so proud of it. We watched his we watched his favorite movie, Night of the Hunter, with Robert Mitchum, and that was my grandfather's, like,
That's a great film.
Great. And he would always stop it, and like he cared so much, and he would stop the film and say, look at the lighting, look at the composition, look at like the mood of this, and he would teach me like what, in his opinion, what was a good movie. And then like the old horror films like the Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein. I'm trying to think what else. King Kong. King Kong was huge. So we watched all those films so many times. And then when we weren't inside watching films, we had the 67 acres in Pennsylvania. And we would just walk up down the driveway. He'd show me all the moss. Like, just we'd pick berries. Like, it was just almost like a storybook childhood. So everything after like that has gone downhill.
Did you ever get to really watch him paint and draw?
Like, so when he had his stroke in 96, like I said, I was only 8 years old. He always had his paintings like in the studio. When you'd come in the studio, my grandma would like scream at him for this. He always had his Reign of Wizardry. Do you know that piece, the orgy?
Yes.
So he had that in the studio for years with all of his grandchildren coming in, and I didn't think anything of it. It was just
art.
He just fit. Yeah, it was just art. Like it was just great. It was an extension of Grandpa. I don't know. I was just like, oh, I just didn't. I don't know. He was such an awesome grandfather that I'd never even had the time to think about like who he was to the world, or, who were these people coming to the museum? I don't know. I just was there to hang out with Grandpa and help, I'd go in the museum and help my grandma and level out the frames and everything. But it was just such a part of my life that I couldn't like see it from an outside perspective, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But did when the outside perspective finally came in, was it you finding out yourself, or someone actually telling you or bringing up on like whether it was this bad or this good, and then it kind of changed the perception? Do you think that kind of affects the innocence of how art is perceived at a younger age?
It was after he passed away that I understood his influence on everything, on art and just the world and culture as we know it. It was actually when I went out so I had just finished college, and I was like I was in between a job, and I was working at as a post-production coordinator, and my mom had just like settled everything with the business terms of how the Frazetta estate was going to be handled. And my mom was like, Sarah, you loved your grandfather so much. Like, I know you've never thought of this as like a business that you'd want to go into. And like my grandma, like thinking about, I thought, because she passed away 9 months before my grandpa, this is like something my grandma never would have wanted for me, because she just had a lot of stress and a lot of negative. She loved meeting with the fans. And like, that was like when my grandma would really shine and keeping my grandpa's legacy afloat. But when it came to like the business side, it would really stressed her out, and she always really wanted more for me. I was like the light of her life. So she's like, you could be anything. Like, she wanted me to be a doctor, but I'm like, sorry, learning disabilities, Grandma. But I when I went out to California, Robert Rodriguez actually had his collection of Frazetta originals with my mom's and my aunt's and my Uncle Bill's. And he had this like huge party after San Diego Comic-Con. And we were just like amongst all of these like, people that I looked up to, because I was like, I'm so into the film industry, I'm like Hollywood, like then it was stars in my eyes. I was like 22 years old. And they were all coming up to me saying, your grandfather is how I got into the industry, and he inspired me. And I was like, wait, why didn't like they ever tell me this? Why? I didn't know Grandpa had connections to everyone. I had no idea. And even like people from high school will say, why didn't you ever like mention your grandfather? I'm like, he was just Grandpa, I don't know. Didn't think about it.
And he really did, because a lot of people think he only did fantasy art, and I'm like, no, man. He did the artwork for Battlestar Galactica that ended up in TV Guide magazine when I was a kid.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
And my exposure to your grandpa was thanks to first learning, seeing his artwork was Famous Monsters of Movie Land.
Oh, wow.
He had done some cover art for that, and I'm like, who? I'm like Joker from Batman. Stop the press. Who's that?
Who is this?
And so I started looking up Frazetta. I go to the library and look up anything that and all I could find initially was Tarzan and Conan books.
Yep.
And so that was what got me to read Conan, was your grandpa's artwork, as well as reading Tarzan, Edgar Rice Burroughs' original stuff. And then his work with John Carter of Mars, which you did a painting, as I recall, didn't you? Yes, I've got it right here. It's not John Carter. It's Red Sonja Mars Attacks.
Oh, yeah.
Can I show that?
Yeah. That's the tribute to my grandfather.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Oh, let me enlarge it. Here we go.
Yeah, that's a very cool
That
cover.
was his Deja Thoris. So it's called Girl with Dagger. It was for an interior illustration. So I just thought that was funny. I love Mars Attacks. So
that is Mars Attacks Alien. That's cool.
Yeah, that brain. I can't buy it.
She's really savage because he doesn't even have his helmet on anymore, and she's still stabbing him.
Ack.
Yeah.
This illustration I really like. This does show a lot of the technique of your grandfather right here with the pencils. Because I'm actually looking how you did them. You did the hair different than the way your grandpa did, but this is your style right here.
You know what's funny? I'm glad you noticed the hair because I love drawing hair. I'm like, maybe I should just get into wig design because of how much I love drawing hair.
It's a lot of fun with that hair, I see. Yeah.
But you've got a lot of the hatching. Your use of hatching here is really good. I like the way you put the energy into the hair like your grandpa did. And this is not replicating him. You're actually using your own style because it's slightly different from how he did it. So I can already see, your own voice in some of this artwork, and I'm loving what I see.
Oh, thank you.
And I really love your vampire. Well, some people say Vampirella. I always have said since I was a kid, Vampirella.
That's what I said.
Vampirella.
And I freaking love the way you did that.
How do you say it, Sarah? What's the right way to say it?
Vampirella.
Yeah, see, that's how everybody else.
Gary's wrong. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, so are you, Sil. Shut up. Shut up.
Hey, Sarah.
Cool to make sure.
Sarah,
I pronounce everything wrong though, so trust me, I'm not like the snob to it. I was saying, what was I saying? Gouache, and they're like, no, it's gouache, honey. I'm like,
gouache. Yeah, but I say it the same way you do, gouache. But here, I also like that you've got your own style for painting.
Now, that's actually Sebastian. I have not.
You didn't color this.
I did not color it. So I like what he did, but to have fully an authentic piece, I think
painted this one. Was
what?
This you?
No, I didn't paint any of them.
So you're doing the initial pencil and ink work. Yep.
So the painting will come. It's just not there yet. It's not. I've been only practicing with watercolors right now, which are extremely difficult.
Keith is sleeping.
The what?
He was just snoring.
Keith works all night, Sarah. And it's amazing that he makes the show at all.
That was when Gary was talking. He fell asleep when Gary was talking, not when Sarah.
Yeah, that's while I was talking.
Damn, I wish I could fall asleep like that.
I lull him to sleep all the time.
Now, this is curious with the pencil ink and color because I'm not an artist at all. Like I tried art in high school and got kicked out because it was terrible. But it's interesting. I always thought it was hand in hand pencil ink colors, but amongst like a couple artists here, what's the correlation there? Like that's not a given that you're going to be a colorist, right? Like
right.
It's just whether you kind of want to go for it or not, and even if Gary too, if you feel the same way with that.
I don't even know how you respond, Sarah.
Well, I just wasn't ready yet. Like when Black Flag approached me to do a comic cover, I said to them, I'm like, well, I'm interested in doing this. This sounds like a fun idea. I said, but I'm just letting you know, I'm not ready with colors yet. I'm not, my watercolors look like a muddy mess. And I said, and I'm certainly not even close to being ready for oils. I don't do any digital. So they were like, oh, no problem. They're like, we have a colorist, we have an inker, we have everything set up. And even when my grandpa got started in comics, he a lot of the times was just doing the pencils or the inks, and you'd work as a team effort on it. Even some of the paperbacks, like he'd do, like Roy Krankle, his best friend. Roy Krankle would do the rough work for it, and then my grandpa would do the final painting. So I like that. I mean, again, eventually, like, hopefully I'll move into painting, because I think that it would be a very, very therapeutic.
Well, it's a natural transition, because, well, even your grandfather did a transition
right
to painting, because he started focusing mostly on pencil and ink work.
Exactly.
And there came a day where he's like, I can do this. I can transition this, the lights and darks to color. And because he talks about it in the movie Painting with Fire.
Yep.
And he also talks about something that I've experienced myself as an artist, where two of his friends, Al Williams and Bernie Wrightson, would step in and help him on some of the panels that he was doing. And he would give one artist the job of the backgrounds, and the other job to do vehicles or something, while Frank would focus on doing the characters. And
I don't think he ever worked with Wrightson, but it was so the Fleet, because Wrightson came out, like, my grandpa really respected Wrightson. He thought he was a genius. But in the beginning, like in the 50s, when my grandpa was in Brooklyn, he was working with they called themselves the Fleegal gang. So it was Angelo Torres, Al Williamson, Nick Meglin, Roy Krankle, Wally Wood. So those were the guys that, like, those were the guys that formed this group.
They were the masters of comic work too.
Yep. And it wasn't actually, my grandpa did not start painting with oils until he was 30.
Yep.
So, and that was thanks to Roy Krankle getting him into the Ace paperback. So after my grandpa left Al Cap, I mean, Al Cap was furious. He was so pissed off. He was like, I just lost my best freaking ghost artist. And Al Cap told my grandfather, he's like, you're never going to work in the industry again. And my grandpa was like, yeah, right. And he got some pinup jobs, like Gent magazine, Dude magazine. He was doing some, like, naughty paperbacks. But Al Cap wasn't kidding. He really did blacklist him. What did you say?
Still said the best.
I was listening out loud. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm just a moron and forgot my headphones. So I wish I could. If I say I'm over talking over you guys, it's literally because I can't hear you, because I
want you to over talk me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I apologize, because I hate doing that. But so he was essentially blacklisted from the whole comic industry, and they were making like crazy excuses, like, oh, Frank, your work is just a little like outdated. And he's like, what? Like, it was crazy. So Roy Krankle had a huge workload with Ace for the Edgar Rice Burroughs paperbacks, and Roy Krankle was such a good friend of my grandfather. He was like, Frank, let's get you to do some of these paperbacks. You could do a great job. And at the time, he was just doing his watercolors. And then even Ace wouldn't hire my grandpa. And it was actually, Roy took a few of my grandfather's works and he like passed them as his own. And he said, oh, these are what do you think of these covers? And they were like, oh my God. And now he goes, well, this is Frank Frazetta. So now will you hire him? So if it weren't for Roy Krankle, I don't know if my grandpa ever would have, I mean, maybe he would have broken into paperbacks, or maybe he would have gone a different way. I don't really know, but that's why you always need like that one good friend.
Yep. It's about who you know. Definitely.
Yep.
Well, mine is Tom Waltz at IDW. He's the senior writer for IDW, and he has full credit for discovering me. And my first job, because when I was first hired by IDW, I don't know if you heard me tell this the other night, I was an animator. My primary job was doing their trailers for their comic book titles.
Oh, cool.
And he walked into Ted Adam and Chris Ryle's office and showed him my portfolio, telling him, he's an even better artist than he is a video director, animator. And they immediately fired me from doing their videos I worked on the A-Team, the movie adaptation, tie-in comic book. with Chuck Dixon. And my career's been going ever since. And now I'm doing G.I. Joe covers, and I'm pretty happy about that. But once again, your grandfather had a major impact, as did Al Williamson, because in fact, Tom has referred to me as this generation's Al Williamson because I draw so much like him. But the fact is, if you go back to the comic work of your grandfather, Al Williamson and his style are very much the same.
Yep.
It's identical. That's why they could work together so easily.
Yep.
And I wanted to tell you real quick, buddy. I got to do that with one of my graphic novels. I was swamped with doing 2 books at the same time, and I wasn't able to finish a page. So I gave it to an artist buddy of mine who Keith knows as well, Gary Bedell, an amazing illustrator. And he copied my style to where there's no change in flow through the book of the style of drawing. It's very Al Williamson-like and Frazetta-like with the horses. Because when I do horses, I'm drawing like your grandpa. Because nobody could do a horse like Frank Frazetta. Nobody.
I saw a lot of the Disney animators were really inspired by his horses, like especially in the movie Mulan. You could really see that in the I think it was in '95, and that was actually the time we went up to MGM, and I remember we went back into I was at Disney. My grandpa was getting, everyone was standing and clapping for him as we went through. And I still didn't click that he was someone really special.
It's a big deal.
Huge deal.
I'm going to open this up just to show you something.
That's awesome.
This is a page from Bayou. Let me see. Share. There it is.
Oh yeah, there's those Frazetta horses.
Yep, and it's my that's my artwork, and I'm drawing it like your grandpa.
That's awesome. Yep, got it. The horses have to be strong, Clydesdale.
Muscular horses. Clydesdales are the shit.
Yeah,
that's why they were used in the movie Kroll.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I have to shout out Mark May, because Mark May was actually
Mark's.
First.
Yeah, I love Mark.
Yeah, Mark was the first person on Facebook to actually reach out to me, and he's like, "Do you want one of your pieces to be published in my Hellbringers cards?" And I said, "Sure." And then he was like one of the first people that started like telling me how to be better. And I got we Mark and I joke about it, but I got a little defensive, and I'm like, "Hey, do you want it or not? Like, you came to me." So, but over time we've become like really good friends.
You know, it's really funny. You're the other artist who yelled at him, because he admits it. I yelled at him.
Did you?
While we were working together, because I got so annoyed with him because he didn't know how the process worked.
Right. You had to kind of mentor him in a way, and I had to show him how the process works when you're doing because for him, I wasn't doing the artwork. My buddy Richard Bonk was doing it this time. And Richard and I have worked together a lot. We have been working together since 2006. Mm-hmm. We have a great friendship and working relationship. And I will ink his work. He will ink my work. And then I'll color all of it because I'm a better colorist than him. Mm-hmm. And but Mark just didn't understand the process of me coloring. And, it's like I remember snapping at him at one point when I finished the flats and it started doing the buildup. Mm-hmm. And then he said, "Oh, the color's wrong." I said, "You approved the flats, Mark. You approved the flats. That's where you worry about the colors, not after I've done the buildup." Right.
And
that
I
makes
really
sense.
did snap at him when I said that. And because little shit like that really irks me. But goddamn it, I love Mark so much. He's such a sweetheart. And Richard and I enjoyed doing that cover for him because it was just fun. We love working together. So that's really
it's great.
But it's funny to hear that you snapped at him too. I'm like, oh, we share that, Sarah. Like,
yeah. Well, I don't know. I was like, hey, you said you want this. I have to change it. Then I'm like, in the process, I'd give him some concepts, and he's like, "That's a little too dark, Sarah." And I'm like, "But you told me to be myself."
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm dark.
Very dark person.
Yeah.
But lovely.
I know that Mikey Sutton, who's been his success with comics right now are amazing. Every single issue of his book is sold out. Sil Abdul down here, on our panel. He works with Mikey, and when Mikey heard I was talking with you, he's like, and he's had a stroke too, so he's very self-conscious of the way he speaks. But we've got him to go on our shows. He goes on Sill's show all the time, and he's finally learning to get over the way he sounds because people love him. And when he saw that I knew you, he's like, "Oh, I want to meet her.
That's so cool.
I want her to do a cover for one of my books."
Yeah, he's building something special. Yeah,
and I'm telling you, because he's Filipino, he's from the Philippines, and he's very proud of that Filipino heritage. And so you'll see a lot of Filipino material in his storytelling, even. And I'm telling you, your art is perfect for what he's doing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I look forward to connecting with him.
I'm going to do it through Facebook. I'm going to just do a group chat and just introduce you to each other.
Cool. That's
and
great.
I think it'll be great. He's always
I have a
busy.
question.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Mikey.
I just wanted to ask you, sir, now that they mentioned, our good friend from the Philippines, there was this also a Filipino artist called Rudy Obrero, who worked for the design of Masters of the Universe toy line. He was the one that created all these packages and the artwork for the blisters and all that. And he mentioned once that he was asked to sort of copy Frazetta, and he said, "I didn't really do it, because I can't respect the man enough if I copy him, and I'm not that good as he is, But he said, just to get the gig, yeah, I can paint like him, We all know that it's complicated. But,
every artist lies.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, was your grandfather aware of all of this that was going on, and how did he feel about it?
So my grandpa was fine if someone was like inspired or learning from him. Tributes, but if someone tried to emulate his style and make a career out of it, it would really bother him. There was a quote going around online that it's still going around, and I'm so sorry if this hurts anyone or like what, because I don't know how you feel about this artist, but Jeff Jones, I love his work, and I think like it's in my opinion, it's very different from my grandfather's. But there's a quote going around that says Frank said Jeff Jones was the greatest painter alive. And being that my grandfather quoted that, my grandfather was alive, and my grandfather thought he was the best painter alive. So he would never give someone credit who was still like in his industry, like competing with him. And my grandpa didn't like the blatant swipes of that Jeff would do sometimes. And so if he saw like a swipe and it didn't, and I think like Jeff said throughout his career that he was just so deeply inspired by him, and it was as like a mentor to him. But it still really rubbed my grandfather the wrong way if it was like very close and it kept going. Like one tribute.
Well, here's one in particular. Here's one in particular that I'm aware of that was clearly overly Frazetta-esque. Let me see if I can pull this sucker up here. There we go. In how he did the tiles on the floor, the way he did the anatomy on the female and the anatomy on the male in front is clearly Frazetta-esque.
Right.
And that's Jeff Jones. And yeah, he stole. Absolutely stole.
Yeah. And I mean, now it's different because, so many years have passed, and but at the time, they were both working on paperback covers. So it was his direct competition. So he didn't like his competition swiping him. He just felt it was, he just said, he's like, you know what? And I listened to an interview recently of him talking in the 80s, and he's like, I don't care if you're doing anything perfect or anatomically correct, or he's like, if you have a good understanding of design and you can just be yourself, I'll love you to death. So it wasn't like you had to impress him with this technicality or like, this intellectual like understanding of art, or he just wanted you to be able to have your own voice. And that was what would really bother him, if someone didn't have a clear voice of their own and tried to have Frazetta's voice.
Yeah, I concur. And by the way, I hate Boris Vallejo. I hate his work, not him as a person, I
Right,
hate
right.
his art. The guy was, I don't know what it was. I think he jerked off with yellow ochre. It just so much yellow in everything he did. And I'm like going, it looks putridly. I can't stand it. And also his lack of, well, he did a version of one of your dad's pieces for John Carter of Mars, where Carter's on top of a dome. And I made fun of it at the time because he fixed it later. But the first version that ended up going to press had a flat shadow on a curved surface. And I just started laughing, going, I was like, I think I was 15 making fun of Boris Vallejo, going, he's no Frank Frazetta.
Yeah,
Anyway.
my grandpa really he never really said nice words about Boris Vallejo.
He was a terrible artist.
I don't think that was, again, it was not, because he said, he's like, he knows what he's doing. He's like, I just don't really prefer that style. And I also, it was more because people would look at my grandfather's work and say, oh, this is Boris Vallejo. And he was like, can't you decipher between the two? Like, our styles are so different. Yeah, we're in the same genre, but it doesn't, it's like night and day.
It's night and day. There's nothing in common. And his excessive use of ochre just annoyed me.
I really personally like Vallejo's. Like, I love his landscapes. I think they're really like,
no, those are always good. It's when he starts doing people with all the yellow in their skin.
And it's because they're so stiff, because he uses the life models, and a lot of my grandfather.
That's right. There's none. What was the rule? Do you remember the rule that he had?
Boris?
No, your grandpa.
What, like, what? I don't know. I don't.
When to show action, one leg had to be missing to show action. And if you see a lot of them, like the one of the Vikings in snow, you'll notice like the guy's leaning and you can only see one leg. And it was one of the things I learned from him.
Yeah, and that was the art of understanding what to leave out. And that was why he was so big on, it doesn't need to be anatomically correct. Like, a lot of his paintings, like you said, are missing like the limb, or where's the hand, or where's this. And it's because he knew where to draw the eye. And he just was so amazing at making like this, like a focal point, and he knew how to curate your eyes around the canvas, like as if he was like composing music, but on a canvas. Like, so he just had that inherent understanding of what beautiful design was. And I think that was like his point, even with like Boris and other artists that came after. He was like, they're trying too hard, but easy for him to say.
Right. You're a genius, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Vallejo was the one manufacturing paint for miniatures, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Here's one. Keith just sent the link in the private chat. There you go. That was clearly stolen from your.
That's wow.
That's a rip-off.
Yeah, the muted colors, the planet. It's very much so Frazetta.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but let's get back to you. You know, because I know you help with your mom with the museum and stuff, and I know you're a fan of your grandfather too. But I don't want to make this about him.
Oh no, I love talking about him. If you got any questions you guys have, and speaking of museums, my Uncle Bill, this is not official yet, but my Uncle Bill is thinking about opening his museum in Pennsylvania with his collection that he had from his father. So if that does happen, I'm gonna float around and go help him with it as well. So I'm excited. I hope, because I want Frazetta art to be everywhere, because it's not easy to travel these days, and you know, if there's more locations, it's better for everyone.
And blood is thicker than water.
Sometimes.
Speaking about the museum and the work that you do, Sarah, over there, what has it been like, you know, working there with your grandfather's work, of course, and you know, managing the museum and all that, helping your mom? What all that been like to you, you know, personally?
It's been unbelievable. I mean, I think partly because of all of us going through that lockdown together, not being able to, like, you know, have face-to-face interactions, and to be able to just be around people again, and then to see what the original art, like how it evokes such a deep emotion out of people. Like it's my mom and I were talking about it last night. My mom said to me, she's like, Sarah, it really feels like this is my responsibility. Like I do need to be showing the artwork, and, again, it's her collection. I have to respect her and go by her timing. But I was so happy to hear that, because seeing the fans' reactions has just been incredible. And it makes me understand why my grandma loved it so much too. And my grandpa, I mean, when they opened the museum for the fans in 1983, it was really an afterthought. They bought a big industrial building, which is the building my uncle Bill owns now. They bought this big industrial building, and it was really to store all the posters and the calendars. Like, they were selling like hundreds of thousands. It was crazy. Business was booming. And my grandparents were like, maybe it's time we start thinking about a museum, because we have all the art in the house and people coming to the house. It's a little bit too intimate. So then they decided to open the museum, and my grandpa just said he just loved how the fans interpret his art, and just got such an emotion. I mean, we've seen people come in and they just like start crying, and it's incredible. It's really humbling. And again, another experience for me to just see firsthand like what my grandfather did for the world. It's really, really incredible.
So it's just one museum right now, right? Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. So little history about my mom's collection. So my mom, my Aunt Heidi, and my Uncle Bill, there's 4 Frazetta kids. They all had their collection together for quite a few years. My mom, Heidi, and Billy worked with Robert Rodriguez, the director. And he had Robert, I think, owns about 8 Frazetta original oils. Like, he bought the original Fire and Ice. I guess he bought it for a really cheap price, because the widow of the collector didn't know what she had. She just thought it was some weird, like, art that she didn't want in her house. So Robert ended up buying that. And then he has the Dusk Till Dawn, Moon Maid, Conan the Usurper. So he has a huge collection of Frazetta originals. And then my mom's was with that collection, Billy's and Heidi's. And it was the biggest collection of Frazetta originals like ever displayed, besides the 1983 museum. That's when because my grandparents, so more history, my grandparents always sold art. Like, to buy this building in Boca Grande, to buy the estate in Pennsylvania, they had to sell original paintings. Like, I mean, that's every artist sells original art. But so over the years, like, a lot of collectors have had different paintings. Like Ace has a bunch. So their collections were exhibited in California in 2013. Then it went to Wizard World in Chicago at one point. And then they also had it displayed in Austin, Texas for 3 years in a row. And then after, in 2015, my mom got her art back. Billy got his art back. Heidi got her art back. And they haven't been exhibiting as often. So now I think, like I said, it's just, cycles in life, whatever. So now they're all kind of interested in, again, getting the art back out there.
Okay, so that museum, that one is the East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, right? That's
the one up in there's so there will be 2 museums in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. So the first location was downtown, the second location was in Boca Grande, and then the third Frazetta museum was on their property. Now, the third museum that was on their property, my grandpa designed it and built that in 2001. Now that is just ran by my uncle Frank Jr., and he has his collection that he inherited. So it's all split
that
up.
The one that your grandfather designed is the one that had the bulldozer incident, right?
Yes.
Was repaired though, right?
Still looks like the door needs to be replaced, but yeah, I haven't been there, so I don't know. You guys could probably tell me more information.
No, I have no idea. I've looked for information on the museum, and there's no stories on it about the repairs or anything. I was hoping you would know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a traveling show. Go to Pennsylvania, do a museum tour. Get some good stuff right there. Yeah.
That would be really nice. A Frazetta tour of the Frazetta girls traveling around the U.S., giving lectures and showing the work. Come on,
retrospective. We would love to do that. And I mean, we're in talks with a few museums to possibly tour my mom's collection. But nothing has been set in stone yet. There a lot goes into it. Just the hassle of insurance and transportation. It's like, did you guys see that read that story from Mark Wheatley on Facebook by chance?
Which one?
About my grandfather's painting.
I don't recall. I know Mark,
Okay.
but I don't recall.
So to give more context as to why it's such a scary thing to get these on the road or like, not have them in a vault. So Mark Wheatley was working with my grandpa at a convention in the 80s, and he said that he had a big portfolio of Frazetta originals, and he was taking them all out one by one. And he took out the Conan of Cimmeria, the Frost Giants, and he leaned it against the wall, and he said the ice caps fell off the painting. And he was like mortified, like, oh my God, I just ruined a Frazetta original. And my grandpa looked at it and he licked the back of the ice caps and put it back on the canvas. And he goes, don't worry about it. I use really cheap materials. So it's scary because you don't want the paintings like chipping off, and it's also like this with this delicate process of like, do you restore it? Do people want that? Like, that's another hand on the painting. So
now I don't know if you know this or not. I learned the bad way that acrylic paint never completely cures. So don't ever put acrylic paint against acrylic paint, like painting face to painting face. I found out while traveling to a show, when I pulled them apart, paint came off on each other, and I'm like, ah!
Oh, I can't imagine.
It's a nightmare. It's an absolute fucking
It only
nightmare.
happens to Gary. Yeah.
That's why I work digitally now. I've been working totally digitally since 2010.
Yeah, good.
Have you tried?
Hey, Gary, before I forget to tell you, because it will be like gone because of your spine, try this thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called craniosacral therapy. Have you heard of it?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I've heard of magnetic stuff. What's this?
This is like a little woo-woo, but a lot of success stories. And it's like, if you've tried everything, why not try one more thing?
Right.
So just remember that. Something told me to just tell you that. So
say the name again so I can type it out.
Craniosacral therapy.
Craniosacral therapy. I will Google it later.
I'm open to anything. When people are like, oh, this, and I'm like, guys, we don't even know like why we're here. You should be a little bit open-minded to other things.
Yeah, I don't get suspicious until someone says, have you tried gay sex? It'll help you.
Wait, what is it?
Wait a minute. What? No, I'm not trying gay sex. No, I'm not. I think you're trying to sell me something I don't want.
That's just a pickup line.
No, right.
By the way, my wife is in the chat and she wanted to say hello to you.
Hello.
Her name is Deanna, and she puts up with my stuff. And what she was commenting on when she commented was that she heard it for like a week when Mark irritated me. It's like when Mark annoyed me and I snapped at him, I was just grumbling about it for like a week. Like going, I can't believe that motherfucker said that. Or I know.
I'll do the same thing when someone pisses me off, and my partner Joe, he's like, "You've already repeated this." I'm like, "I have to get it out in words."
Yeah, otherwise you don't understand. I can't let it go until I've said it 20 times.
Yeah. I'm okay. Well, we can complain to each other to leave our partners alone.
It works, man. I've got other artist friends that get a hold of me for that shit too. When they get annoyed.
Joe, you gotta live with that, Joe. You gotta. Nothing you can do about that.
Sorry to interrupt, but I do have to go, Gary. I do apologize.
Yeah, I have to run too soon because I have another tour I have to give downstairs in a minute.
So just Sarah, before you leave, I would like to ask you, with the museum and the Deathbringer comic book coming up, what's also next for Sara Frazetta?
Well, for me, I'm working on a comic cover with my mom right now. So that's exciting.
What is she doing?
Mom, I can hear that. Mom, come say hi to everyone real quick. Come here. Hold on.
Hi, Mom.
Come here. Mom, a little faster. She's going really slow. She's shuffling. She's turning into my grandpa. Say hi to everyone.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
You guys
Hi,
are
Mom.
so tiny.
I know.
Here, I'll make us bigger. There we are.
There they are.
It's not the size. It's how it's used.
I'm the one that worked with Sarah on the comic series with Mark.
Oh, nice.
And now she's going to be a little comic artist. She's way better than I am. She's been drawing for a long time.
Don't listen to Sarah.
Well, I brought that up, and I'm glad you're here. Is because all my kids are artists, and I was curious, were you all gifted with that talent?
I think if we would have used it.
Yeah, I was joking. Sarah
Hereditary.
heard my joke that all my siblings are artists. I'm the only one lazy enough to make it a career.
You know,
I was saying in the
I
chat.
wished I would have pursued it when I was younger.
She's still not. I'm like, you're not
when you're
old.
young. No, I mean,
Hell no.
It's like twin sisters on the screen
Yeah,
right now.
you look
this
like
is
sisters
amazing.
right now, and that's not just a pickup line.
She's making. Yeah,
they're
I know.
schmoozing. They're
No,
That was a
I
good
tell her
one.
that all the time. I'm like, you make me look bad. I'm like, everyone's gonna think I'm like,
Oh.
we're gonna like the same age. And well, we're close, 24, not close, but she was only 24 when she had me. I told them all how you wanted to give me up for adoption to grandma and grandpa. Well, you thought about it.
I thought about it.
Yeah, she thought about it.
I didn't do it though.
No,
Sarah?
and just to let you know, I was 18 when my son was born, my oldest boy.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
so my son is 40 this year. So, and I'm only 17 and a half years older than him. And it's weird.
Yeah, so you're like brothers.
Yeah.
I'm going blind. Like, put it
I
back.
did have one. I did have one thought.
Oh,
for
before you go,
Sarah.
Stephen? Yeah.
No, before we go, what you could do is, since you were saying something about the whole ADHD thing, is what you guys should do for picking up for your tours is put random pictures or statues of squirrels throughout the tour.
Squirrels
so
and red buttons.
So you can play off the ADHD joke and be like, well, here on your left is squirrel, and just point
I
at
don't
the
even
squirrel
need
and
to
just
do
keep
that. I'm
going
just
in.
like, and this, and oh yeah, I forgot. I'm going back.
Well, Sarah, you'll like this. I often refer to our channel show as ADD Theater.
Perfect.
Because
I'm in
we're
the right
so
place.
ADD.
I love it.
But yeah, candy red buttons all over the place, squirrels.
I love it. Yeah, don't put these ideas in her head. She already has pinball machines
Nice
down
to
there.
see you. She keeps
Great
making me
idea.
get rid of my toys.
Yeah, I'm like,
It was
but
nice
then
meeting
everyone
you.
comes to the museum and they're like, we love these little touches. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm not the fun one. My mom is.
It's true.
And just so you know, I plan to work with your daughter on some more projects. So
Aw, that's wonderful.
I'll show you her work too. We're gonna make her do it.
Bye,
well,
guys.
if you're gonna work
Bye.
together,
No.
that'll
All
happen.
right, bye, twin.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I should have gave you the
Mama
speaker
twin.
and you could
I
have connected
know.
to the speaker.
Oh God. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out too because we're gonna go back down to the museum.
Nice
Thank you
meeting
all
you.
so much. I had a blast getting to know you
So
guys.
much
I'll
fun,
chat with
Sarah.
you later, Sarah.
All
Take
right.
care.
all
Meeting
right.
you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Oh,
Oh my God, what is that?
Oh shit, let's get back to normal.
Super fun family.
Yeah, fuck you, Viking.
That was the anti-Viagra right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Did you see that look? I'm gonna get a snapshot of that look. He just
But
gave.
you guys have great. I do have to go.
Well, I appreciate you being on here because just like you said with Keith with Babylon 5, it feels weird when you're not here on TGIF because I created this show with you in mind. And so you're always a major part of this show.
But it's called Pop Culture and Friends. It's not called Passive Aggressive and Friends. So I don't know how you guys get it in mind. Here.
You're so passive aggressive. I love you, Steven. I do.
I said passive aggressive, and Sil looks so angry while typing, going, "Who is this jackass?"
And you know what's funny is nobody can.
Always have that look.
These guys can't call you Whitey because they have no idea what color you are.
Well, I'm white. They've seen my hands. It's not like it's like a skin condition that stops.
Yeah, but on the
halfway
inside,
through.
they're white too. It's only when they do that.
Only when it comes to their taxes.
Come in. I saw Blazing Saddles. Fuck you, Pete.
Y'all take care. Hello, chat. Goodbye, chat. Goodbye,
Bye,
panel.
Steve.
Take care, guys.
You're taking me
We'll
forever.
stick around for a little bit
Cheers,
longer here.
mate.
Talks. It was a great episode, man. She was a lot of fun.
She's a cool chick.
Yes.
McKinney draws $5. I think he's U.S. It doesn't say, so I'm assuming U.S. Question for Sarah. She's already gone, buddy. Do you have any advice when it comes to inking, especially on a professional level? I will message her and I will ask her, and I'll send you the response personally, McKinney, what she says. So, hey, Dork Knight's mom is here, PJO.
Hey, hello.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was
Hi,
mother
Nerd Mom.
friendly. It was mother friendly because we actually had a mother on the show. Sarah's mom. We had two Frazettas on. Yeah.
That was great.
What a fun show. It really was. I don't normally go, I wish the show wasn't over. But I do this time. because usually I want to get the fuck out of here and go do artwork. But I actually do have to finish that G.I. Joe cover. I got greenlit. Hasbro loved it and said finish it, and so I got to finish it. I'm not coloring it. I was going to color it, but Tom and I talked, and I told him I've got 2 other books I'm doing. It'd be great if I could just let somebody else color it. So he's got the regular G.I. Joe cover colorist doing the colors for me.
Wow.
And so
Well,
I'm
that's
looking forward
great.
to that. And I'll finish the inks over the weekend. And it will be fun.
All right. Now I'm just trying to follow Sarah, whatever platform she's on right now. That's all I'm doing. Don't mind me.
She's both on Twitter and on Facebook.
It's like she's everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, she's like us, you know, and because I know she recognizes that it's not just a great place to, you know, hang out with your friends. It's also a great way of marketing what you do. And I do want to show her channel again. Put it back up again. Here we go. This is the FrazettaGirls.com. I'm showing the domain up there on the top. There we go. And it's got a lot of stuff. And I'll refresh it real quick. There we
Shout out
go.
to Pat with the links in the chat. Appreciate
Look at that Death Dealer.
Wow. It's
Christmas ornament.
The Christmas ornament, yeah.
Look at that. The calendars.
So it's the website, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. A fabric patch, embroidered patch. I want that. I'm going to get it on a hat.
You can also find Frazetta Girls on Twitter.
Frazetta Girls.
They have an account, and it's quite cool to follow them.
Cool Queen. Look at that.
Look at all this artwork.
I like the shirts too.
I look forward to seeing her artwork grow because right now there's so little of it. All you have is what's over on Black Flag. BlackFlagComics.com. You can look at some of her artwork, commissioned artwork.
It will be so dope.
The problem is they don't have the artwork she's done for other stuff. They only have what she's done for them. And
if she does that cover with Mikey, Gary, that would be so amazing if she does a cover.
Yeah. And by the way, if you didn't know, I'm doing the Western with him.
Yeah, I think either you or him mentioned that.
Because you didn't know that I drew horses, and I love Westerns, and I am a big fan of Westerns.
I'm about to get her on the channel. I'm about to get you too, Gary. We can get those horses out.
I don't want to go on your show.
Then I'll invite you.
You'll talk dumb questions with me.
I'm going to wait till the horses come out, not now.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till you're sick and then invite you on. Yeah, thanks, Phil.
All right, that's it for Gary.
Thanks for showing up, Gary. Oh, you got a lot of snot. I can say that this show is snot good.
Oh.
I mean,
What kind of joke is that?
That's a dad joke, man. You're a dad. You know that. You should recognize a dad joke
not
when
that
you
shit.
hear it.
Their website is amazing, though. I'm looking at it right now.
Which one?
Man, the
Frazetta Girls.
Oh yeah.
Frazetta Girls is really cool as a
This is amazing
page. You can also follow them on Twitter. They always share Frazetta artwork and some anecdotes. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love the pen and inks here. I got to show it again. God damn it, man! Look at that pen and ink work he did.
They got some cool merch on here, man. Like, there's a lot of good stuff here.
Tarzan. Oh my god, I got to look at this.
Look at that one.
Look at that. Oh, that's not Tarzan. What is this?
That is.
Oh, at the Earth's core. I thought it was Tarzan because I saw the apes, but no, that is not. But look at that. I love, and this is something that Bernie Wrightson really made famous. See how Frazetta uses the inks to show the curvature in his shading? That is something that Bernie Wrightson picked up from him, including, look how he does this here, the very light inking, a thinner ink to create the mossy feel and look of the stuff hanging off the vines. Again, something that Frazetta started doing and Bernie Wrightson picked up.
It's something that you just can't learn, you know. It's something that you also got inside, you know. It's intuitive.
Yeah.
As Sarah said.
Fucking gorgeous. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get lost in this shit for days. Let me close that down. Because I like looking at the details of artwork like that. Because they put it. Because I remember when I met Bernie and I had my first conversation with him, I said, yeah. I looked at the way you would do your hatching with your shading and the curves, and I never bother with that. I put just solid darks in there. I just don't want to put the time that you guys put into your artwork. I'm ADD with my artwork. I got to move quickly. I will put a hint of it in there and then move on. Let's see what's going on here. 2 for the price of 1. Clapperton, great show. Yeah, I concur. Every show, I always say this, it's better than the last one. Eventually, there has to be a cap where we can't be as good as the last one. There's a lot more comments than I realize. It's amazing, as David Spade would say. That movie, I fucking love that movie, Benchwarmers. It really is. I would not call it a great sports film, but it's a great sports comedy. Oh, you bet, McKinney. I will ask her. I'm not looking for more stuff. Oh, that's just us. Jeez, Marie. We still have 178 people in here. It got up to over 300.
That is really
Is
cool.
that Syl? I didn't realize. This whole time you didn't realize that was Syl on the show. Yeah, it's Syl. You need to get closer to the camera, buddy. You need to get closer to the camera.
I shaved, Courtney. That's why I look.
You did. You have no fuzz around your face, man. But we need to get you closer to the camera because you sit way too far away.
That's my shtick.
That's your what? Oh, your dick is too big, so you can't get any closer. Is that what
I'll take that.
Oh shit!
But we do. You need to be a little closer because the people want, when they're watching you, they want to see your face and they want to see your reaction.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll work on my setup here. Yeah.
And you got an adorable face, man.
Oh, yeah.
I want to pinch those.
You're laying it on thick. You're laying it on so thick, Gary. My God, man.
Well, that's what my girl says. Laying it on awful thick, honey.
But
let's see. Thanks so much. I love you all. And Courtney, I will send you 25 personal dollars if you will shorten your fucking name. Her name is It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. I don't want to fucking say that. I just want to say Courtney. Or Courtney's Fellowship. The extra words are just too much for me, man. I'm ADD. I don't want to spend a lot of time on one thing. But we love you guys. I appreciate every one of you dropping in today. Because I get so focused on our guests, I don't get to talk to the chat the way I want to or the way I do normally. Because I spend a lot of time talking to the chat. Oh, she says, hi, Syl. I couldn't see you because I'm on my phone and I'm blind, so it's really tiny.
It's a shtick.
And that's, again, what my woman says. It's tiny.
What?
No, wow.
What?
Oh. I suffer the Irish curse. Let's see.
Hilarious.
Oh, there she is, Deanna. I sit far from Cam too because I feel if I get too close, I feel like other parts of me look too big. I feel the same way sometimes.
I want y'all to see my face. No, yeah, I'm gonna get up closer next time.
Yeah. I find, look, this is the rule: is fingertip away, straight out. Don't lean into it. Sit flat and point your hand out, and that's how far away your camera should be, and your microphone should be half that distance.
That's what I think of your advice, Gary.
Gary, fuck you.
Fuck you
and the horse you rode in on, you piece of shit.
Yo, thank you, Zax.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
And I hear tell that there's going to be a push to get you on other shows here soon, from Mikey, Mexican Iron Man.
Yeah,
because he really does Look, man, if he takes an interest in your show, there's something about your show.
That's right. There's definitely something about 24 show.
Yep.
He's got the right kind of personality. He is an incredible host. He's knowledgeable, and really it doesn't hurt that he has an enthusiasm about what he actually does, which is one of the secret things that you need. You need to be a little enthusiastic. Because
all right,
you're not.
You two get a room now. Jesus Christ.
Come on, man. You should let the man talk, man. But thank you. I appreciate that, Keith.
No, and it's true. 24, you've got a great channel. I'm so glad that I was directed to watch it. And I joke, but I do love the fact that you do say fuck more than me. And because it makes me feel like I'm not saying it enough. I could say
you know what's fucked up? He always says that, but you don't ever hear it.
Fuckity fuck.
There you go.
It's debatable.
I remember one time in the Army, I said 3 or 4 different variations of the fuck word in one sentence. And I was like really angry when I did it. And one of my buddies goes, I never thought you could use fuck so many different ways. And I'm like, yeah, it is a universal word of getting your fucking point across. There's getting your point across, and there's getting your fucking point across. And you see right there, the emphasis really, really adds. As you and I've talked privately about it, it really spices up what you're trying to make a point of.
That's right. What's up, Courtney? Yeah, it's me, 24. What's going on, girl? Hopefully everything's good with you.
Courtney in the house?
Yeah, she's cool as shit. Yeah.
Carrie's fuck quota is very high. That's high praise.
Mr. Ticket Trunk, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, well, Courtney, we're friends, and we do a show together on Thursdays. You need to watch it if you haven't yet. It's the Scoop Zone, where we go over all the news and scoops from Geekosity, and we confirm at least one scoop every episode, or show the confirmation of one of his scoops. Last week we had practically 6 scoops that were confirmed in one episode with one trailer, the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer. Crazy.
Hey,
crazy.
Guess who's resurfaced?
I don't know who.
Our favorite Sony producer.
Oh?
Avi Arad is named as one of the producers of the upcoming Kraven the Hunter film.
That means Venom's going to be in it.
Possibly.
That means Venom's going to be in it?
Well, Chameleon is.
Yeah, the Chameleon, yeah.
Because if Avi Arad's name is in there, it's going to be something he's associated with. Mm-hmm. And really, to my knowledge, Avi Arad is Spider-Man and Venom.
Okay.
What else?
Maybe a little cameo. You're thinking, Gary?
I'm
thinking. Kind of
thinking.
pass through. You may be on something there.
Look, Kraven went up against Spider-Man. We know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm betting that it's a Spider-Man cameo, but I'm hoping that we get a little Venom, because Venom needs to really spread its wings and get around.
I think it'll be Spider-Man before Venom. I think. Go ahead, Keith.
I'd like to say that they would probably work their way up to something bigger with Spider-Man. I think the first person he's going to take on is someone who's a little more out there, who's done more. And what I mean is, Kraven will probably be in the same universe as Venom, which means probably Venom will be the easiest one for him to go after, because Venom has been all over the news. He's done, I mean, if you go by the way they built that world, he's had 2 movies. His activities are well covered, so that would make him the obvious target for someone like Kraven the Hunter to go after.
And it makes sense. It makes total sense.
We need to capture Venom.
Something of a setting for. I think that Sony is not just giving away that Sinister Six idea so lightly, and they are going to try and make Venom something of a gateway to that by inserting him into something like Carnage or something like that. Morbius maybe even. I don't know, but it might be.
Right. A lot of options there. Sony's winning right now, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sony's made so much money. When they went, RMB had talked about how they had the earnings call, and somebody had put up all of the. They made a list of all the different media companies and how coming out of their earnings with they ranked who did what, and Sony came out on top. I mean, Sony came out on top. And they're killing it right now.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tickletrunk, read that.
But the only other thing that I've noticed lately is there's a lot of behind the scenes info getting dumped now for David Ayer's Suicide Squad. There's a lot of pictures and drawings coming out, and I'm telling you,
it's coming.
It's definitely coming, but
yeah, it's coming.
It's just the people that haven't learned their lesson that are still going, it's never gonna happen. Yeah, it's never gonna happen. Like, it's really,
it's almost Cliff Clavin there. Hey there, Nami.
Blasphemy? What are you talking about, blasphemy?
Blasphemy.
If what I'm saying is blasphemy, well, may you be struck by lightning.
Now you're cursed.
I guess we better wrap this up. It's been a great show. Thanks for coming, guys. Mr. Tickletrunk, of course, Zax, who's also here, is still here. I'm going to add him to the stream. There he is. Let's see who else. Of course, Purple Valkyrie was here. Good to see you. Keely Chow showed up. Of course, our good friend and producer Pat S. And then, of course, Courtney. I'm only saying Courtney, damn it.
Foundational eyeballs. Fellowship, I'm sorry.
Too long a damn name. Darius Munchausen was here. Lord Thoth. McKinney is here. Soul Assassin. My goodness, we had a really good show up of
lovely
our friends. P-Joe is here, which means at some point, Dork Nightly, I call him Dork Nightly because it's Dork Night LV, but when it's in tiny on the screen, it looks like Dork Nightly, and I thought that was funny. So I call him Dork Nightly. And I think PJ loves that, his mother, because I think somebody was calling him Nightly the other night, and I'm like, yay, it's catching on. Soul Assassin, goodness gracious, who else showed up? My wife. Hello, Deanna. Deleted Scenes is here. He's normally on the show. I don't know why he didn't come on today. Was more than welcome.
Had to work, he said.
Oh, is that it? Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Work
who else
sucks.
showed up?
Yeah.
Going through the stream, trying to see all the chat. Who is that? Oh, okay, that's you. All right, 24. Your something was shaking on your desk and it was making boop, 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 boop noise.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's okay. Oh, our good friend Martin Acosta Santana was here. I love that guy. Clobbering Times. Good grief. We had a lot of good people show up that I didn't get to say. Flaccid Phoenix was here. Gosh, golly. What are you laughing about?
That comment you just had from
Flaccid. Yeah. Are you going to MegaCon, Sarah? That was Cantonese Comic Kid. I got to tell you, if you're wanting to ask her a question, I missed so many questions because they're not highlighted. And I'm not running the chat. Technically, Zax is. And the way to get your questions directly to Sarah, make sure she sees it, is to do it through super chats. Not just because we just do it for 99 cents. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's really
it highlights it so we know to put it up there.
Especially like Gary, like when you're running a show, right? Like you said, we can't really see all the great.
We can't see. I'm not paying attention. I'm paying attention to my guest.
It pops
and I'm trying
up.
to peek up, and that's why Zach's joined us is to help me with the chat because I want to make sure because you've got to pay attention to your chat. You got to care about them. You got to love them. Show them love.
That's such a wonderful guest, though. I think they understand. We was locked in,
sweetheart.
We were so locked in.
I was so excited about having her on the show because I know what a big sweetheart she is, and I knew people would love her. See, I haven't read. I already said Lord Thoth. So, our Keith and my friend Das Wolfen was here. He had to leave.
Yeah.
I think I said Soul Assassin, but in case I didn't, Soul Assassin. Let me see. And at some point, we went over 300 people. We still have 280 people. Why are you watching us now?
They want to hear us talk, especially after you talked about how.
I couldn't believe it. I was doing a show with Pat last night, just doing a test, and it was called A Test. And I was just doing a test on our chat bot, and people were showing up, man, watching the show, and I'm like, all right. So I started telling fucked up stories from my childhood that are funny, you know.
That's the thing, Gary. Like, because I did one before where I was like, I'm just like I said too. I said, don't click on this stream.
Yeah, don't
and
click
I got
on
like
it.
1,000 views. Like, I was like, no, don't click on it. I'm trying to do something here.
Yeah, I'm trying to do something. People show up, and I'm like, fuck it. Okay, I'll start telling stories.
I'll tell stories.
I've got nothing else. So I told the dildo story, Keith.
Oh, geez, gosh, no.
When one of my friends from high school said his sister had one, and Bennett is actually the one who called him a liar. And says, you're a liar. You're making it up. Your sister does not. And I think it was in the morning when he said it. And what he did is he told him bring it in because we all left at lunch, and we didn't stick around for lunch. We left school, and he came back after lunch with a paper bag, and he yelled for us as we're walking down the hallway, and he had the bag over his head. And Bennett came walking closer, and as he got closer, all of us were. He opened the bag to show it was in there, and then Bennett just bolted and snatched it out of his hands and took off running down the hallway with this dildo, waving it half hanging out of the bag as he ran down the hallway. And I'm like, what the fuck is he going to do with that? And we couldn't figure it out. And then we had sixth period, last period class of the day was driver's ed. And we found out what he did with it when we all came in here, sat down, and we noticed that the microphone on the podium was covered in the auditorium with a towel. And when the teacher pulled the towel off, there was that big fucking dildo sticking straight up. And the kid never got his sister's dildo back.
I'm sure she noticed.
Oh, she did. I'm sure she beat his ass. Hijinks, man. There was always hijinks with my friends. We had a tabletop junkie was here. That's another one. What were you going to say, Keith?
Have any of you guys looked at the complete cast list for the Batman?
I have not, but I've seen, when I do the search for what's going on with it, they always show the major cast. Salty Texas was here too. I forgot about that.
There's a couple of people buried in there that I'm kind of surprised, including
like whom?
one.
Oh, the lovely Sherry,
major Marvel actor at this point.
Who?
Mahershala Ali.
What is she?
You on Wikipedia?
Mahershala Ali is the actor that's cast as Blade in the MCU, who's yet to make his debut. He's part of the cast of the Batman.
The fuck is he in it, I wonder?
It's a good question because it doesn't list who he's playing.
That's interesting.
Are you on IMDb?
Or Pop Culture? Do you guys know Pop Culture Republic? I don't recognize him.
Margot Robbie.
A lot of pop culture going on here.
Wow. So Margot Robbie, what is she going to play?
That's a good question.
What site are you on, Keith?
I'm on Google. If you Google The Batman or The Batman 2021 cast, they all come up, and they're all sitting here for you. And J.K. Simmons, he's definitely not playing Gordon, so he's got another part in this movie. Matthew McConaughey.
They're not in this film.
I don't know, mate. I mean, I'm looking at IMDb and nowhere is there Mahershala Ali or...
Here, hold on. Let me share my screen and I'll let you see. Hello.
It could just be related.
Yeah, they are. What you have to do when you go to Google and look up the Batman, you'll click the word cast to see the remaining cast, and then there's another arrow that says show more. The minute you click show more, you get this screen. Somebody just joined us. Who is that? Oh, it's Steven.
Hey, finally made it,
buddy. Share screen.
Kept busy.
Love
Here you
juice and
go.
chicken grease.
This is
Hello.
what you get when you look up the Batman. First, don't click cast. Do this. Do the Batman, and it shows the cast. And then you click cast, and then you click show more.
There you go.
And there they are.
It's weird
Yeah,
that
but
they don't appear in the IMDb page, you know.
And if you go to Mahershala Ali, if you even go through this portal and you click on Mahershala Ali and go to his movies, Batman's not listed at all.
It could be
Well,
a cameo, man.
I'm not seeing Margot Robbie or
Up. You passed her.
Oh, did I pass her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on that list. Yeah.
Go up one more row.
Oh,
There's
there's J.K.
And also
Matthew
Michael.
and Margot Robbie. What the fuck?
Google's fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, and look, it's Peter Sarsgaard. One of the actors.
Why not?
One of the actors from Green Lantern.
He plays.
Yeah.
Well, we know he's in the film because he dies. He's the one with the bomb
Mhm.
attached to him, and he's of course one of the. Is he not? No, he's not part of the family. That's right. He's not. He's American. Because I thought he was one of the Sarsgaard kids, but he's not related.
That one is Skarsgård, mate. With
Is it
Skarsgård.
Sarsgaard? Yeah. Hello, I'm clicking back and it's not going back.
I don't know. You know, I mean, we have talked about this before, but I reckon that if this movie fails in a certain way, it will mean the utter downfall for Hamada. You know, like we are going to see.
Oh yeah, it's the clear and utter failure of Hamada's Warner Brothers.
I don't think you really need this movie to fail for Hamada.
And I
to
do
be
want it.
fired.
I would like to see
Right.
it succeed, but at the same time, I have just enough passion about Schadenfreude that I want to see him fail again. I love when Hamada fails.
Yeah,
I think he's gone no matter what because he's
Right.
he's tied so closely to Toby.
Oh, Matt
And
Vader's
Toby-
here.
It's a regime change.
And
Hey,
he has to go because he bought into what Toby was doing. You know, there's
It's like
no
Hero.
redeemable. I mean, even if the Batman is
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
even if the Batman's a good movie,
Release the Snyder Cut.
and
Are you Toby?
if it is somehow a good movie and it makes money, Hamada's still gone
Right,
Yeah.
right.
because he's not going to change. If you keep him in this new iteration of the company, what's he going to do? First of all, would you trust him to actually, now suddenly support the Snyderverse? He wouldn't do it. And I'm pretty sure that while they've never said anything publicly, I'm pretty sure even Zack Snyder's like, get this fool out of here.
And people
You
are
know?
forgetting, Keith and everyone, people are forgetting the big picture here with DC properties. Zaslav is going to fire everyone
Mm-hmm.
with DC involved because they didn't do a Superman film this whole time. They're
Simplest
still,
thing.
like Zaslav talks about Superman all the time, and he's like,
Yep.
y'all sat here years, like 9 years? You have not done a Superman film? Y'all fired.
Wasted. Capital W. You have wasted one of the biggest actors out there.
People
When you
forget
could have
that.
been making all kinds of money with him, and you wasted, and in Hamada, you wasted him because Toby told you to.
How do you explain that to Zaslav? He comes, why don't I have a Superman film for 9 years?
Well, you're gone.
That's how it's gonna go. That's how the conversation's gonna go. Well,
I mean,
You're fine.
Jeff Zucker was his friend for years. I mean, he's known Jeff Zucker for 30 years.
40
And
years.
it's like 40 years. And Zucker's like, he asked Zucker, well, what's going on with this? Well, no, you're gone.
You're gone.
And that's his friend.
And articles are coming out now where they're like the long-term plans for CNN. First off, CNN is a shit show. We know this. But Zaslav was coming in business-wise saying, yo, I was going to phase him out anyway, according to insiders. He's going to phase out his friend for 40 years. Zaslav's cutthroat. It's all about business, y'all. It's
Yep.
all about business.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah, it's not
He's
personal.
walking into the room. You better make sure there's no plastic on the floor.
You don't do a Superman film for 9 years. That's amazing that they got this long. Like, that guy
he's like dad, and he just got home, and he's already taken off his belt, going, "What did that boy do now?"
Still, this might interest you. This is from Mikey. Apparently, in the middle of the night, his microphone broke.
Yeah.
So,
because he wanted to be here earlier today, but yeah, that happened.
This is beyond interesting right now. What Zaslav's going to do. So you might as well just sit back, relax, enjoy it. Hamada might as well just dust off that resume and this is not going to be pretty. But
it's like, how do you have this IP? Like, it baffles me that people aren't like looking at that. Like, you have Superman, you have a prime Superman.
Can I at least say this to the guy that wore Henry Cavill's suit on Peacemaker? Dude, as my twin brother would say, who are you? Because, seriously, you're asking people, hey, how about me as Superman? Really? If you had any real talent, you'd be wearing the suit all the time. Get the F out of here.
And whose suit was he wearing, Keith? That was Cavill's suit.
It was Cavill's suit.
Come on.
I mean, the guy who your mom's lusting after right now. I mean, you're wearing Cavill's suit, getting paid to hang by a wire, and you're not even making the same amount of money. Meanwhile, Cavill is doing the nerd thing by picking up Warhammer pieces going, oh, this is cool. And women, left, right, and center. Every woman in your life is looking at that going, oh, he's kind of hot.
That's all meant to.
While he's nerding out.
Gary, what was those messages? You said something.
That was from Mikey. Yeah, I was wanting you to see Mikey's messages. And everybody's like, Gary's showing his private. I said, really, there's nothing private in that chat.
I mean,
that was just a message from Mike because we were going to do the interview with him today, and it just didn't happen because he broke his microphone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mikey's a boomer.
I'm hoping that's not code for his penis. Because I'm going to tell you something. The freakiest thing as a paramedic I ever got called on was broken penis. They were doing it in an armoire chair, and that's a dangerous thing to do. And all she has to do is fall or make a wrong move, and it happens. You can snap a penis, and it gets what's referred to as a priapism, which is a forced, painful erection with swelling. And that's what this
not
poor
in a
guy
good
had.
way.
And every single one of us, when we walked in the door, did the and our legs pinched together.
Yeah.
We're like,
Sounds just
every male paramedic and EMT and fucking fire rescue. I think even a cop did it.
When you have a move that even John Holmes goes, no, I won't, you got to think to yourself, should I be doing this? Should I?
Oh,
yeah. Matt Vader. There was this one time when I was in a leather swing. Matt Vader just posted that.
Shout out to Matt Vader. In the chat, Gary, the Purple Valkyrie, doesn't she stream with Arwen? Is that the same Purple Valkyrie?
Yeah, that's Purple.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hi, Purple.
She was
Valkyrie.
on our show
I saw
the
you on
other day.
their channel.
Purple's a friend of
right
ours.
here,
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah,
and she's like Viking. She's British.
Oh, that's even better.
But interestingly enough, Gary understands it all the time. He never understands me. I don't know why.
I don't know what you're saying right now, dude, but it sounds really
nice.
Viking.
It's called incentive.
We need to get Purple to be all the time, to either Purple or Tom to translate for you, mate. We're not gonna get that fucking dictionary.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If it's East End, of London, I can understand it. I don't get because I can sit with someone that's East End or Cockney and understand them. But I'll tell you what fucks with me is Scottish. Like I was fucking with that 70s guy that is friends with Nick Weiser. And because I did the same joke with him, I said, I don't know what you're saying. Sounds great. We need subtitles for you. But I actually do understand him. But I told you that incident in Glasgow when I was in the train station and I'm in the bathroom, 13 years old kid, trying to figure out this giant fucking moon face scale. It's giant. It was like the size of a kiddie pool. It was so fucking big. And there's no place to put a coin. I'm trying. And that guy walked up to me and goes, you know, and I'm like, I'm thinking, oh, I'm pale. I'm pale. So you think I'm Scottish? I'm not. So I said, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm thinking he's speaking Scottish Gaelic. And I'm like, I'm American. I only speak English. And he leans in a very thick accent, but very clear. Says, that was English, laddie. And it was so loud, and everybody in the bathroom, every stall was echoing because it's that vaulted stone ceiling, so it echoed, and it was horrifying. All that laughter, it just terrified me, and I fled the bathroom, just ran out around the corner, hid around a magazine stand. You know those old magazine newsstands that they have in the train station and shit. And I ran around that damn thing and just hid there till my dad. I kept poking my head around, waiting for my dad to come out. And the first thing he says is, "What is it with you in bathrooms?" I always had like the worst luck in public bathrooms. If something happened to me that was just awful.
Public bathrooms, but not private.
No,
private, you're scoring.
Yeah, in private bathrooms, the only thing that bad happened was for my poor boy Benjamin, who's 40 this year. When I was potty training him, wasn't paying attention, and the lid fell on him.
Oh man,
he was so traumatized by that, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry. So I had to train him a different way. I taught him to pee sitting down because he would not.
That was therapy.
That was therapy.
That's lifelong therapy right there.
He had childhood PTSD from a toilet.
Building an empire here, Gary. Amassing
What's that?
talent.
Oh yeah.
No, I was reaching out to Purple Valkyrie. I'm gonna get her and Arwen on my show. Hopefully, Purple Valkyrie can make it. But I'm gonna get Arwen on my show soon. So fun stuff.
Damn, that's what saying about
I was a little surprised when she didn't show up for our meeting with Mikey.
Huh. Shit, the rest of us ain't invited.
Oh, 24 yard. Hey, clapback Saturdays. Real quick. Still up.
Well, my goal is to introduce Mikey
get
Sutton to
24
you guys, and then kind of see if he'll let you stay. Because he is very picky who he talks with live. It's since he's had the stroke, it's one of those things that you just deal with him. And but we've helped. Sil, you've helped a lot, get him to loosen up. I
remember you messaged me that, and that meant something, Gary. When you was like, "Yo, Mikey's getting more like himself," right? So I was like, let's keep having fun with this, Mikey. I was like, you're getting, your old friends are seeing, it's helping you. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that plus I also sent you the dick pics.
God, I don't know about that
part. We need a judgmental Keith right now.
Why is it that nobody talks about dick pics until I come on the show? What's that about?
I don't know, man. You
just
tell me.
The trigger, it's like now it's time.
Terrific.
So it's deleted scene. I didn't see the name until he popped it up. Deleted scenes. All right. So I connect with you on Twitter a little bit. Shout out to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we talked a lot.
We do.
Well, he's a bit of a racist, so he might not reply to you. So
I'm used to those.
Bring it on.
I just said that live.
Go ahead.
I didn't say that in the back.
Get it out of your system. Get it out of your system now. Go ahead.
I am such an ass. I'm sorry.
Oh wow!
Once I realized that, Gary, we've been good.
Okay,
ever
here's
since.
my
As soon as I
favorite dick
realized
pic. This is one of the pics I sent to Sil right here. This dick pic.
Everyone, don't look.
Well, that's a tricky dick, isn't it?
Dick.
Did I open that message? I may not have
tricky
opened it.
dick.
Damn.
We need a judgmental kid right now,
Wow.
I gotta bounce, mates. I gotta go. Got something to do.
Viking, take care of yourself.
Here's another dick pic. Here you go.
It's always been a pleasure, kid.
Let's see. Get this on here before you go. There we go. Another dick pic. Dick Burton.
All right.
Now I need to find another third one, so that way I can say these are my 3 big dick pics.
Dickie Smothers.
Yeah, Dick Smothers. There you go. 3 big dicks.
Well,
So-
without Dickie Smothers, I don't think we would have had the movie Evil Dead. So,
All right.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Well, I gotta go, mates. See you. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, I got to
being
get going
with you.
too. Let me just end it. Don't leave yet. I'll just do the outro credits and then you can leave properly. So I want to thank everybody for showing up today. What a great show! I'm just so happy that Sarah came on the show. I was just so tickled that she was here.
Oh.
She's such a sweetheart. I want to thank you guys for being here. Thanks for popping in here at the end, deleted. But thank you for being in the chat while you're at work. I hope you don't get fired for that. I'm not laughing, but I am laughing.
At least a write up.
I'm laughing because what I said is funny, not because you're getting fired.
Gary's a jerk.
aha!
But with that, Delete, I'm glad you popped in, man. I kind of was hoping more would show up, but I think people got scared of Sarah. Oh my God, I can't go on there. I can't go on there. I guarantee you, somewhere like that. And that's why they didn't show up.
Oh my goodness!
You guys got to see what I've seen, which is she's such a sweetheart. She really is. So
Very
down to earth
natural.
about everything.
Yep.
And I
Cool
love
chick.
her story. Her story is so great how she came to doing artwork. Now I did not know about the injury. So from the surgery being part of it. That's interesting. I knew everything else, but she's a fascinating person. We will have her on again. It's gonna be fun. And I'm gonna get her mom on with her.
She's got a hot mom. Yeah.
Oh, they're all beautiful. Are you kidding me? They're all gorgeous. But with that, this is Pop Culture Minefield. We are getting the hell out of here before we say something worse than what we
Damn, still.
Could possibly be worse.
Yeah, you like, damn. I'll
Damn,
go in on
man.
moms.
Damn, man. What you
Like,
saying?
I'll go in on moms. Like, damn.
Y'all want to say it.
But
Damn.
24/7. Yeah, that shit's cool.
Yeah, that's how I'll do it.
Look. If we're being honest here, they are very beautiful women.
They're
Yeah,
gorgeous.
he's like,
Better girls,
yeah.
man.
So what Keith wanted to say was like, yo, if I do say so myself, I'll smash that. I ain't mad at you.
God.
Look at you, man. Look at you, dude.
just like
Yeah,
that?
Keith is like, yeah, look at that shit.
All
Look
right,
at
guys.
you with this.
Thanks for coming, man. We'll see you guys later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Remember, you can find us at Pop Culture Minefield on both Facebook and Instagram. Thank you
As
again.
well as the website and Twitter.